So since I got a little platform, I'm going to go ahead and use it because a lot of people seem to be misinformed. Kamala Harris is not the better option. Don't be fooled just because she is a woman and she is of color. She is not for the people. And me being from the Bay Area and being around when she was actually running the district attorney's office, let me help you understand what I mean by that. And before I have gazillion people hopping in the comments, talking mess regarding Trump and all that, listen, between him and her, all you're doing is picking one of the lesser evils, and that's facts. But being that I am a part of the community of families that are affected by incarcerated people, I am going to go with the person who is less inclined to locking everybody up. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that they don't know if that's correct. And I seen Yandy make a post saying that a lot of that is just propaganda. Well, let me help break it down for you. Kamala Harris grew up in the Berkeley, Oakland area. She went to law school at Hastings and graduated there and started off as a district attorney in Oakland. From Oakland, she went to Alameda before she went to San Francisco. Do y'all remember in 2010 there was that big drug lab scandal with Deborah Madden and the San Francisco Police Department? I remember specifically because I had 2 cases involved in that scandal. Let me help fill you in. She was the head district attorney at the time, and right under her was a guy named Gascon, something like that. He used to be a district attorney in Los Angeles when they had that big old scandal going on with a bunch of police misconduct. Anyhow, around that time, he was reviewing police files for misconduct, and he was basically telling her that there's no policy in place and there needs to be one for any time there's police misconduct. It needs to be reported to the lawyers and the judges on the case. She ignored him. Now, after she ignores his advice that there needs to be policies in place, that way they can curb any type of misconduct that's going on in these cases, it comes out that there's this big drug scandal in the drug labs. Deborah Madden, she was the lead technician in the drug labs, and it had been reported several times to their office that this woman had an issue and that she shouldn't be testifying in anybody's cases. She was touching the drugs, she was stealing the drugs, she was sneaking the drugs. It was just a bunch of bullshit. All of that was hidden from the attorneys and the judges on the cases. Do you know how it came out? It came out because Deborah Madden's family finally took it to the news. And once it became public, then Kamala Harris tried to say that she didn't know anything about it. Yes, you did. Now, keep in mind, Deborah Madden's family also reported that they had already been contacting the district attorney's office for months prior to this, before coming to the news channel, to let them know that there was misconduct going on, and they were also concerned about their family member, all of which got ignored. Now, keep in mind, she was head district attorney at the time. So how are you running an entire department and you claim to not know what's going on in your office, although that was later proven to be bullshit and that she was aware, and her colleagues gave her up on that. But she just chose to withhold the information from the judges and the attorneys on those cases. And what was her reasoning behind that? She wanted to keep as many people locked up as she could, no matter if that case was mishandled, if there was misconduct to get that conviction or not. And she knew that if that misconduct got out, that was grounds for dismissal. And let's talk about Kevin Cooper. Do y'all remember him? That's the man that was hours away from his execution, and DNA had now became a thing, and his lawyers asked for the execution to be stopped and his DNA to be tested so it could possibly prove his innocence. She denied it and didn't want it to happen. However, Governor Newsom stepped up and said, no, let's go ahead and test his DNA, and come to find out, I'll be damned, it was not a match. Oh, wait, let's not forget when she actually made it a crime and parents started getting charged with their children being truant. But when they ran the numbers, they realized that this mostly affected Pacific Islanders, Native Americans, African Americans, children with disabilities, and foster children. And then she later tried to say it was an unintended consequence when she realized that parents were actually getting arrested for this. It was up to a $2,000 fine, up to a maximum of a year in county jail, and people were losing their welfare benefits because their children were truant from school. Unintended consequence. And those were her exact words. Like, what do you mean? You're the one that put this in place. And then when you were confronted with it after people were outraged that parents were actually being arrested for this, now you want to back up and say, oh, it was an unintended consequence. Well, what the hell did you think it was going to be? A scare tactic? And I know y'all already heard this one, but I'm going to go ahead and reiterate it. What was it, about 1,900 people that were arrested for smoking marijuana? Not selling, smoking marijuana. Like, get out of here. You're doing everything that you can to just lock people up and ruin their lives. So yeah, while I'm not a fan of this whole political shit, and like I said, in my opinion, it's just picking one of the 2 lesser evils, Kamala Harris definitely ain't the one I'm going to pick.